I'm pretty sure you must have heard of this question that they ask in the interview. What are your drawbacks, or tell me about your drawbacks? And in majority of the times, or majority of the cases, people fumble and stumble to answer this question. Some people try to give hidden strengths. Oh, I work so hard that I'll sleep in the office. Or I'm so obsessed with my work that sometimes this can be a drawback. Or people say I'm overly ambitious. So what you're trying to do is, you think that the guy listening to you is dumb, so that you can play around with words and try to give a hidden, so-called hidden strength. I'm so obsessed with my work, or I work so hard. Yeah, you are God's gift to mankind, and the Elon Musk part too. But then, when I coach and train people, I tell them, say, listen, let's cut out the bullshit. Tell me, what are your actual drawbacks? And there they go absolutely blank, because they're like, I don't know what to say. Like, what do I say? It's like they're not aware what their drawbacks are. And then in some cases where they do know one or two drawback, they'll say like, yeah, sometimes I'm lazy, but if I say this, then the guy may not give me a job. Or I'm hot-tempered, and if I tell the guy will not give me a job. So in a way that they are right, because obviously if you say that I'm not committed, I'm not dedicated, or I'm lazy, or I lose my cool, obviously you'll not get a job. It's like a guy who's going on a date telling the girl, my drawback is that I am addicted to sex and I view every girl as a sexual object. Obviously don't expect the girl to meet you again, unless of course she is the same kind. So this video is not about what is the right answer to give in terms of when they ask you the drawback. That is a totally separate topic, which I sit one-to-one with my clients, and I educate them how to give the right response without giving a canned, pre-planned, generic, one-size-fits-all statement. Because it doesn't work if you give a generic statement. People are not dumb, yeah. Okay. So coming to the topic, that is, what are your drawbacks? Here's the answer that I'll, or the solution that I'll give you, which you may know, but you have not thought about it. Okay, for example, let's say in your office or where you work or your family, think of someone you don't like. Think of a member or a colleague. Now you got the picture of this person. And if I were to ask you, what is this person's drawbacks? Easily you'll give me at least 5. The person talks too much, the person is irritating, gossipy, smells, doesn't know how to behave, is a backstabber, whatever. Write it down. Now, here when I asked you to talk about somebody else, you have been very easily able to give their drawbacks. But now I can assure you this much, these drawbacks that you mentioned here, if you go and ask him, don't tell him that these are his drawbacks, ask him what are your drawbacks, he'll not be able to give you a single one what you put here. But on the other hand, if you take the drawbacks that you have listed, and you speak to people you're close to, or the people who are like-minded like you, they'll also agree most of the things. In fact, they might say, oh, all this list is true. So the fact is, the person who doesn't like you generally has a hyper sense of awareness about your drawbacks. That's number one. But now let's flip the switch and say someone who is his best friend or likes him, are they aware of that person's drawbacks? You'll be surprised to know that even if they'll not be able to give you the same number of points, like for example, you ask someone who's that person's best friend, what are the drawbacks? They're not going to say he's irritating, because obviously they get along. They're not going to say that I can't stand him, or they will ignore all these. But then they will highlight some issues which generally everyone knows, but they choose to ignore. Like for example, if you ask your mother and father, or your relatives who really genuinely care about you, or your mentor, or your boss, I can write and give you, they can pinpoint the exact same drawback that your enemy would have put. It can be anything. Confused, immature, don't know what to talk when, don't know how to behave, not reliable, lazy, whatever it is. Okay. So now comes down, how can you find out what are your drawbacks? Okay, what do you do? How to work on it is a different chapter and video altogether. The first one is being aware. Over the years of trying to find out and evaluate from self-assessment and all that, I have found out the easiest way is, according to me, but obviously you can't do this. When I used to have workshops and I used to do coaching sessions, I used to have people sit around and give them a piece of paper. Over there, nothing is written. No name, no nothing. And I would tell them, all of them would have a pencil. And I would tell them, please write down my drawbacks in this. Okay, write down a word, or whatever it is. And I write it in all capitals, so it's easier to read. And don't mention your name, don't mention anything. And all the papers I would take, shuffle them. And after I got this data, I would put it in an Excel sheet, type it out. And then I would discuss with the guys. I'd tell them, okay, fine. In all these drawbacks that are mentioned here, first one is I'm attention seeking. How many of you agree I'm attention seeking? And, with a show of hands, I would know, okay, 100, okay, out of 10 people, 10. How many of you feel I'm not reliable? Okay, out of 10, 4. So I take down the scoring, and there, from highest to lowest, I would know which one are the most obvious drawbacks, which majority can see, and then obviously which are the ones the least. But obviously it doesn't give you the seriousness, because for example, if you're a backstabber, that is much more serious than being an attention seeker. So then obviously you can play around with the data and ask them, among these, which is the most serious one? So maybe being a backstabber is, seriousness level is 10 out of 10. But if only one person said it in the group of 10, so even though it's mega serious, only one person feels it, so it's not the reality. And obviously you need to have a sense of self-awareness and common sense to know, be true to yourself. You can't be like a gossipy person and say, no, I never gossip, I never gossip. No, then that person is in denial. So this is the way I used to get my drawbacks. However, since you can't do this coaching kind of thing, what is the solution to find your drawback? I would say it's very simple, man. See, find out the people who don't like you or who you have tension or problems with. Find out who they are. Okay? Discover their name. And most probably, and I'll tell you this, the person you don't like or you have tension with, write down drawbacks of this person. Okay, this person is gossipy, this person talks too much, this person this, that, whatever. Okay. Now, either you can do two things. Either you can role play and visualize that person talking about you. What would they say? if you have the maturity to do that, or the points that you have put there, maybe what you are talking about the other person is actually you're talking about yourself. In some cases, I found that to be very true. Many people who say, oh, you're a fake, you're a two-faced this thing. What I've realized is, this guy with a secret account who's not revealing his true identity, he's actually fake but he's calling me fake. Okay, so that's another way. But the most effective that I can give is go to the people who you respect, go to the people who you like, go to the people who are close to you, who you can really trust, people of integrity, character, maturity, experience, and sit down with them, take them for a cup of coffee or a one-to-one conversation where there's no disturbance. And after you finish the pleasantries, tell them, see, listen, I am doing an exercise where I want to know my drawbacks. I want to improve. I want to be a better person. Could you please tell me which are the areas of my life that you feel are serious drawbacks, which everyone knows, everyone talks about, which is so evident, but nobody tells me face to face. I'll not feel bad. I'll not say anything. Just tell me what they are so that I can make a note, because I want to improve on these. And if that person is comfortable with opening up and the person is a close friend, they'll tell you, see, listen, this is what people say. Generally, it's what people say. You can even ask him, can you tell me what people say behind my back? Don't tell me who. I don't want to know who. Because if you ask who, then it creates complications. Don't ask who, better not to know. And if suppose I tell you who, don't go and start fighting with that person, because then you're shooting yourself in the foot again. And you're breaking trust. So take down the drawbacks, what people say behind your back, or what is explicit and what really needs to be worked on, or what would really destroy your life, your career. Or take it down. Once you see that feedback given, you can be rest assured this, what he has mentioned here, is what everyone knows about you, or most, but nobody wants to tell you. Just as when I asked you, tell me about the person you absolutely hate in your office, who you cannot stand, give me his drawbacks. You are able to rattle off so many. Same way, people are rattling a lot of things about you, but they're not telling you. And that is your reality. So now, obviously, the question comes, once you get all these drawbacks, what do? Do you feel upset? Do you feel sad? Do you feel angry? You feel... No. That's not what you need to do next. Let's say, for example, people say, Loy, you talk too much. That has been a drawback. Many people have told me, Loy, you talk too much. Loy, you're an attention seeker. Loy, you're controversial. Loy, you are whatever. Now, if it is something that I can't do anything about, let's say someone, people generally say, Loy, hey, yuck, man, you look so ugly. Face looks like a dog, or you look like a freak. I can't change my face. This is how I am. If someone says, oh, yeah, you're overweight and all that, yeah, I can work on it. So first thing is for you to know, is it something you can work on or you can't work on? Your face you can't change unless you go for plastic surgery. Forget that. So if it is about being overweight, yeah, that can be an issue that you can work on, provided that is a priority. That is one. The second one is, some people may view something as a bad point, but it actually can be good for you. Like example, in my case, I love talking too much. I love attention. Now that, to be honest, that's a bad point, because nobody likes a guy who talks too much. Nobody likes a guy who seeks attention. But in my case, I was able to commercialize these and make it to my advantage, which is why today on YouTube and online, I have a career. I've been able to monetize this. The attention makes me get noticed. The talking too much is very useful as a coach, consultant, mentor and trainer. Okay. So, and yeah, seeking attention has also helped me think of ways and strategies to stand out, like reading books and improving my knowledge. And someone says your insecurity, I've used this insecurity to make me a better person than what I was. Okay, so be wary of the fact that there are some drawbacks which can actually be your plus point. But then there are these ones which are glaring: backstabber, lazy, the ones that people know, unreliable. So these you need to work on. And sometimes you might feel, when was I unreliable? When was I lazy? It's better you ask for specific incidents and don't go just to the same person. Ask 2-3 people. Can you give me an example? When was I unreliable? Can you give me a specific incident? When was I lazy? And once they talk to you and tell you, don't debate and argue with them. That is a big mistake. Don't tell, no, listen, you're wrong there. The minute you do that, the person will shut down. Then you're shooting yourself in the foot again. That's why when I mentor someone, if I find them argumentative and defensive, I correct them and tell them, see, listen, I'm on your side. When I'm giving feedback, take it. Don't argue. But if they continue, then I tell them that, see, listen, if you continue, I'm going to stop. It's going to harm you only. Most of the time, 99%, I've not met anyone who still continue, except there's been 1 or 2 cases in the past 20 years. Then I totally stop and I just tell them what makes them happy. Okay? And then after you get those incidents and you note it down, then comes the part of actually working on it to make sure that you don't repeat it. And that involves conscious awareness. You have to constantly be aware. When are you doing it? Why are you doing it? And you have to catch yourself doing it. And once you keep making yourself aware and you keep working on it, you will become better. Because now you're making a constant effort. And remember this. If it is something like being lazy, maybe it's an area of your life you're not interested in. For example, I know many people, if you ask them to go exercise in the gym or go meet a couple of their friends or go to night clubbing, or they have boundless energy. But you ask the same person to read a book, they'll be like sleepy and tired. Not even 5 minutes. One side they can sit for 12 hours, 14 hours without sleeping. Other side, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, they feel sleepy. So over there you need to check the variables. But overall, remember this much. If you are able to pinpoint your drawbacks and you're aware of them, and you really start not only being aware but working on them, either using those drawbacks to your benefit, commercializing on them, or figuring out ways where you can eliminate them or replace them with other habits, it'll change your life for the better. Because remember, white sheet, a big white sheet, black dot. People always notice the black dot. That is why a person can have 10 years of absolute relentless charity, kindness, goodness. He can be a blessing to society. One mistake of had sex, had an affair, committed this crime, people only remember the bad. So in the same way, whatever is your drawback, that is what will be always highlighted first, because it stands out like a sore thumb. Just imagine you have a black suit and then you have a pink dot, some paint or something. People will see that. So keep that in mind. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful to you. Comment down below and let me know what are your questions or thoughts. And do you have any other technique that you recommend for people to be aware of their drawbacks? And do you think it's important? Feel free, share whatever you feel down below. I read all the comments and I will respond. And if there is anything new, maybe I'll make a separate new video on it. All right, feel free to ask your questions. All right, guys, take care. This is me signing off. Sure.